And we're back. Welcome. This is day 2. I am on time. This is actually 5 minutes late. I was hoping to get here at 5. Whatever. Anyways, this is the day 2 of reading the Fusion Davinci Resolve manual. And I am so excited. I hope you're excited. I hope you're close to excited as I am for this. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's pick up where we left off. We were about to get into the exciting time ruler and transport controls. That's right. We're still reading about, man, we're just getting started. This is going to be quite the journey. It's going to be, I think, I just tried to count it right before I started. It's like 1,200 pages, I think. Actually, we got like 3 hours this time that we're going to try and go for. So we don't have to rush things. Before we get into it, let's count. Let's try and see how many. Let's take an overview look at how far we're going to go with this. So from the Fusion page, the first page, what are we at? So 1,150, and then it goes to, I think it goes to, that's the first section, and then there's 2 here. So 115 to 2,700. So yeah. Let's do a quick maths. What was it like? Sheesh. 1,600 pages. I should update the title of this to make it a little more accurate, that it's 1,600 pages. Whatever. This is going to go on for a while. I'll figure quite a few things out, including how to properly name this journey we're about to go on and how to stream, get all those things set up. But anyways, all right, let's get right into it. We've got yes, exploring the Fusion page. All right, this is where we left off. Time ruler and transport controls. The time ruler, located beneath the viewer area. So this is the viewer area. We are not in the Fusion page. Now we're in the Fusion page, but we got the wrong one open. Let's put it here. Open the Fusion page, and then throw it up. And then this is the time ruler. The time ruler, located beneath the viewer area, is based on the total duration of the composition. What it represents depends on which version of Fusion you're using. For Davinci Resolve users, the duration displayed in the time ruler range depends on what's currently selected in the edit or cut page timeline. And we're skipping Fusion Studio. The transport controls under the time ruler include playback controls, audio monitoring, as well as number fields for the composition, duration, and playback range. Additional controls enable motion blur and proxy settings. Ooh. The transport controls. Oh, that's the transport controls. The transport controls, where are they? This? I don't know. Okay, there's little things here. The transport controls under the time ruler include playback controls, audio monitoring. Yes. Okay, so this. Audio monitoring as well as number fields. Oh, is this the one where, yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, you can add, oh, if you right click, you can turn it on and off. That's good to know. And ping pong loop. Oh. Cool. Additional controls enable motion blur and proxy settings. Yes. Okay, so time ruler controls in the Fusion page. Time ruler controls. If you've selected a single clip in the edit or cut page timeline, then the global range shown in the time ruler is based on the total source duration for that clip. You cannot move the playhead outside the global range. The yellow lines, called the render range, identify the current in and out points for the clip and are the only frames available in the Fusion page. All frames outside of this range constitute the unused head and tail handles of that source clip. So if we go to the media pool and then we put it in here and then we have in and out, yeah, then it just plays that. And let's see if we could do a ping pong. Boing. Boing. Doink, 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 doink. That's cool. The yellow lines, okay, in and out points. The time ruler displaying ranges for a clip in the timeline via yellow marker marks the playhead is red. If you created a Fusion clip or a compound clip, then the working range reflects the entire duration of that clip. Okay. The time ruler displaying ranges for a Fusion clip in the timeline. Render range. The render range determines the range of frames that are visible in the Fusion page and that are used for interactive playback, catch, and previews. Frames outside the default render range are not visible in the Fusion page and are not rendered or played. You can modify the duration of the render range for preview and playback only. Making the range shorter or longer does not trim the clip in the edit or cut page timelines. Oh, it's just rendering. Again, a optimization thing. You can change the render range in the time ruler by doing one of the following. Hold down the command key and drag a new range within the new timeline. Command key. Oh, I see. Let me turn on the mouse viewer thing. Gotta remember to do that. We got download, where's that thing? Let's turn this one on. And turn on, where is it? There it is. Make it a little easier to see. So hold down the command key. Oh, I think that's in the setting. I could turn it down on so that it shows my mouse clicks. Oh, I don't want to get distracted, but that'd be cool if I could set that up. Yeah, I don't even know where that is. Is it in here running? Haha. Huh. I thought I could turn this on. Pop up, nah. Shortcuts only show the keys that are listed in key maps folder. Oh, okay, so I gotta go in and like set that up. Yeah, no, that didn't do it. I gotta go into the thing. Yeah. Cap. Oh. Capital. No, but it still doesn't have. Okay. Space bars there. All right, moving on. Back on task. Drag either the start or end yellow line to modify the start or end of the range. Right click within the time ruler and choose set render range from the contextual menu. So drag either the start or end yellow line to modify. Yeah, we did that. Enter new ranges in the range in and out fields. Drag a node from the node editor to the time ruler to set the range to the duration of that node. Ooh, that's cool. What do we do? How do we? Let's add an edge detect and then throw it in there. But if we throw it in there, wait. Huh. Oh. Drag a node from the node editor to the time ruler to set the range to the duration of that node. Whatever. Moving on. You can return the render range to the in and out nodes points of the timeline clip by doing one of the following. Right click within the time ruler and choose auto render range. Click back in the edit or cut page and then return to the Fusion page. Oh. Time ruler controls in Fusion Studio. We're skipping global start and end ranges. The global start and end ranges is simply the total duration of the current composition. You can change the global range by doing one of the following. To change the global range for all new compositions, choose Fusion Studio preferences on Mac or File preferences on Windows, Linux. In the global and default settings panel, enter a new range in the global range field. All right, why would we want to do that? File, wait, so we do it File, Preferences, Edit Preferences? Davinci Resolve Preferences. In the global and default settings panel. Global default. Okay, whatever. Okay, that's one we might go back to if it ever comes up. I don't know whatever. To change the global range for the current composition, enter a new range in the global start and end fields to the left of the transport controls. Dragging a node from the node editor to the time ruler automatically sets the global and render range to the extent of the node. Render range. The render range determines the range of frames used for interactive playback, disk caches, and previews. Frames outside the render range are not rendered or played, although you can still drag the playhead to these frames to see the unused frames. To preview or render a specific range of a composition, you can modify the render range in a variety of ways. You can set the render range in the time ruler by doing one of the following. Hold down the command key and drag a new range within the time ruler. So this is all time ruler things. Right click within the time ruler and choose set render range from the contextual menu to set the render range based on the selected node's duration. Enter a new range in the range in and out fields. Drag a node from the node. Okay, that's a review basically. So the playhead. A red playhead within the time ruler indicates the currently viewed frame. Clicking anywhere within the time ruler jumps the playhead to that frame. And dragging within the time ruler drags the playhead within the available duration of the clip or composition. Zoom and scroll bar. A two-handled gray scroll bar lets you zoom into the range shown by the time ruler. How do we do that? Zoom. Oh, that's this. Okay. That's probably useful. Which is useful if you're using a very large global range, such as the render range is a tiny sliver in the time ruler. Dragging the left or right handles of this bar zooms relative to the opposite handle, enlarging the width of each displaying frame. Yeah, once you've zoomed in, you can drag the scroll bar left or right to scroll through the composition. Okay, tip. Holding the middle mouse button and dragging in the time ruler lets you scroll the visible range. Oh, see, these are things. What? Oh. 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 What? Oh, just dragging here. It's not middle mouse button, it's just left click dragging here. So you can, okay, that's what they're saying. That's the tip. Transport controls in the Fusion page. The transport controls in Davinci Resolve's Fusion page include buttons that control playback as well as time fields on the left side for setting the render range and the current time on the right side. So these are transport controls in the Fusion page. So wait, okay, sets these. Controlling playback. Yes, there are 6 transport controls underneath the time ruler in the Fusion page. These buttons include compositions, first frame, play reverse, stop, play forward, composition, last frame, and loop. Yeah. Navigation shortcuts. Many standard transport control keyboard shortcuts you may be familiar with work in Fusion, but some are specific to Fusion's particular needs. To move the playhead in the time ruler using the keyboard, do one of the following. Spacebar toggles forward playback on and off. Yeah. JKL. Basic JKL playback is supported, including J to play backward, K to stop, and L to move forward. We're going to test that. And then there's back arrow. Back arrow moves back 1 frame. Forward arrow moves forward 1 frame. Shift back moves the clip's global start frame. Moves to the global start frame. Shift forward moves to the global end frame. Command back arrow jumps to the render range in. And then command forward jumps to the render range output. Let's test all those. We got the render range here. Here, let's reset that. And move these in. like that. And then we're going to, okay, just straightforward spacebar is just play. That's obvious. JKL, that's J is backwards. L is forward. And what's K? Oh, K is just stop. And then we've got the shift backwards, shift forward, and then control backwards goes to here, and control forward goes to there. Very cool. Very, very cool. Then we've got real-time playback, not guaranteed. Because many of the effects you can create in the Fusion page are processor intensive, there is no guarantee of real-time playback at your project's full frame rate unless you've cached your composition first, which is discussed later. So caching, if you don't have a beefy computer, then you're going to have to do things to make it work. Frame increment options. Right-clicking either the play reverse or play forward buttons opens a contextual menu. This menu contains options to set a frame increment value, which lets you use a keyboard shortcut to move the playhead in subframe and multi-frame increments. Moving the playhead in multi-frame increments can be useful when rotoscoping. Moving the playhead in subframe increments can be useful when rotoscoping or inspecting interlaced frames one field at a time. Oh, that's cool. So if you're trying to scrub through something that you've slowed down, you can have the playback rate showing those steps in between. So right-click the play forward or play backward buttons to choose a frame increment in which to move the playhead. So let's try that. And then bam, we can do it. And then it's, so this would be, so it basically has a double frame because it's moving in increments of 0.5 and there's nothing happening or in between 0.5 here. But if I slowed it down, you'd be able to see. And then we've got looping options. Why would you ever do increments of 30? I don't know. I don't know why you'd do that. Looping options. The loop button can be toggled to enable or disable looping during playback. You can right-click this button to choose the looping method that's used. That's the ping pong. We got a loop and we got ping pong. Let's make it ping pong. Ping. Oh. Wait, turn that on. Boink, 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 boink. Boink. Let's get rid of, all right, let's get rid of that. Ping pong loop, okay. Yeah, we know what that is. Render range fields. The 2-time fields on the left side of the transport controls are used to modify the render range. You can enter time values in frames or click and drag inside the fields to modify the in and out of the render range for previews and caching. Right, that's mentioned before, so that's the render range. It's right there. Cool. Audio monitoring. Playing a composition in Davinci Resolve's Fusion page will play the audio from the edit or cut page timeline. You can choose to hear the audio or mute it using the audio toolbar button to the left of the transport controls. Oh, there it is. This manual is telling the truth. It's there. There it is. If you mute the button, using the audio on the left of the transport card, the audio waveforms are displayed in the keyframes editor to assist in the timing of your of your animations. So this clip doesn't have audio, but if it did, we'd be able to look at it. It would show up there. It would be in here. We'd be able to see it. Tip: if the mute button is enabled on any timeline tracks, audio from those tracks will not be heard in Fusion. Oh, that's tricky, man. That's tricky. That's gonna be tricky because there's gonna be one thing that's like deep in the timeline that's got the mute button, and then you're gonna be like, what? Yeah. And then it's gonna be because it's like on the cut page or something. Nobody even uses the cut page. To hear the audio from a specific loader node, I don't know what loader node is. I don't know what that is. Right-click over the speaker icon and choose the file name that contains the audio you want to hear. What is a loader node? Let's try it. Okay, loader. Let's try loader. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Okay. And what? So that right away on a different page opened up the file explorer to load the file in. And let's load in this video. Okay, whatever. Okay, all right. So maybe, yeah, we'll figure that one out later. So the audio tool button is the toolbar in the toggle that does is a toggle that can be used to enable or mute audio playback associated with the clip. Additionally, right-clicking the button displays a contextual menu that can be used to select a media in node in the Fusion page or an external WAV file in the Fusion. The current time field. So the audio toolbar button. Audio toolbar button. I think it's that, right? Yeah. Whoops. The current time field. The current time field at the right of the transport controls displays the frame number for the playhead position, which corresponds to the frame seen in the viewer. Clicking and dragging in this field scrubs the playhead position back and forth. However, you can also enter time values into this field to move the playhead by specific amounts. When setting ranges and entering frame numbers to move to a specific frame, numbers can be entered in sub-frame increments. You can set a range to be negative 145.6 to 451.75, or set the playhead to 115.22. This can be very helpful when animating parameters because you can set keyframes where they actually need to occur, rather than on a frame boundary. So you can get more natural animation. Having subframe time lets you use time remapping nodes or just scale keyframes in the spline view and maintain precision. That's actually super key. So subframes. That's like if you calculate, if you're like hooking up audio that goes to a piece of music and the music doesn't like divide by the frame rate, you can get to precise animation anyways through subframes. So that's the current time field. I want to read this again. The current time field at the right of the transport controls. So the transport controls. Oh, that's this. Oh. 0.2. Uh-huh. And so like if I do a transform, just a regular old transform, and I'm at 155. Oh, so that was so the keyframe was placed at a subframe. So that's how you can make the animations I was talking about, where they sync with audio or something like that, look really precise. And there's probably more. There's going to be more with like hooking that up properly, because you probably wouldn't do that thing like manually. It'd be all connected with other stuff. But that's what we're going to figure out by, well, hopefully by reading the entire manual here. The current, to maintain precision, that's right. The Fusion page viewer quality and proxy options. Right-clicking anywhere in the transport control area other than over the play forward / play reverse buttons lets you turn on and off Fusion quality controls. Let me reread that. Just going on that little tangent about this kind of like blew my mind a little bit. Let me bring it back. The Fusion page viewer quality and proxy options. Right-clicking anywhere in the transport control area other than over the playback reverse buttons lets you turn on and off Fusion quality controls. Okay. You can either enable high quality playback or at the expense of more significant processing times, or enter various proxy modes that temporarily lower the display quality of your composition to speed processing as you work. Rendering for final output is always done at the highest quality, regardless of these settings. And then you've got, so those were the settings inside of here. They kind of go into high quality, motion blur, proxy, auto proxy, playback, and ping pong loop. We already kind of went over some of these, but let's read it real quick. So there's high quality. As you build a composition, often the quality of the displayed image is less important than the speed at which you can work. The high quality setting gives you the option to either display images with faster interactivity or at final render quality. When you turn off high quality, complex and time-consuming operations such as area sampling, anti-aliasing, and interpolation are skipped to render the image to the viewer more quickly. Enabling high quality forces a full quality render to the viewer that's identical to what is output during final delivery. There's motion blur. Motion blur is the motion blur button is a global setting. Turning off motion blur temporarily disables motion blur throughout the composition, regardless of any individual nodes for which it's enabled. This can significantly speed up renders to the viewer. Individual nodes must first have motion blur enabled before this button has any effect. Yeah, so if we turn on motion blur, actually let's do something. Let's go here. We'll wait here, and then just go forward a little bit. All right, and then there should be, oops. Okay, and then play. Wait, up. Hold up. Motion blur on. Okay, there you go. Good motion blur. Super shuttery. And then we right click here, we turn it off, and now it's off. Wait. Uh-oh. I mean, I just turned it back on and it's not working now. Do I have to refresh it? I do. That's annoying. Okay. Proxy. The proxy setting is a draft mode used to speed processing while you're building your composite. Turning on proxy reduces the resolution of the images that are rendered to the viewer, speeding render times by causing only 1 out of every X pixels to be processed rather than processing every pixel. The value of X is decided by adjusting a slider in the proxy section in the Fusion settings general panel. Oops. Auto proxy. So it's on an auto proxy, so take it away, Fusion. But if I want to, I could go up to here, and I guess it's in preferences, and it's in general, and then the user general, somewhere in here. It's somewhere in here. Playback settings, whatever. It's in there. I trust them at this point. Everything they've set up to now has been true, so I'm just going to continue trusting that it's somewhere in there. There's the auto proxy setting as a draft mode used to speed processing while you're building your composite. Turning on auto proxy reduces the resolution of the image while you click and drag to adjust a parameter. Once you release that control, the image snaps back to its original resolution. This lets you adjust processor-intensive operations more smoothly without the wait for every frame to render at full quality, causing jerkiness. You can set the auto proxy ratio by adjusting a slider in the proxy section of the Fusion settings general panel. Fusion. Oh, it's in here. Fusion settings. Aha. And here's the proxy settings. See? I knew it. Oh, settings and stuff. Let's look through it real quick and maybe soak 1 or 2 things in. Familiarize ourselves with this. Stuff. I mean, that's the sign of a real professional, that they have their own spline modifications, right? It's like, damn. There's a lot of stuff here. All right, selective updates. When working in Fusion, only the tools needed to display the images in the viewer are updated. The selective update option select the mode used during previews and final renders. The options are available in the proxy section of the Fusion settings general panel. The 3 options are update all, which forces all the nodes in the current node tree to render. This is primarily used when you want to update all the thumbnails displayed in the node editor. There's selective updates. Okay, so this is another one. I've read it and I didn't catch anything. When working in Fusion, only the tools needed to display the images in the viewer are updated. The selective update option select the mode used during previews and final renders. Okay. So it's still in the proxy mode. And then there's selective, which is causes only nodes that directly contribute to the current image to be rendered, so named So named because only selective nodes are rendered. This is the default setting. So that's how it's set up by default, and then there's no update, none, prevents rendering altogether, which can be handy for making many changes to a slowed to render. Ah, I get it. Yeah, that is actually useful because sometimes if you have like a huge thing that if you try to render it live, it just like doesn't do it. And everything's slow. So you can do selective updates. Wait, so where's that? Fusion again, Fusion settings, general, and then Fusion settings, general, no update. Yeah. Yeah, so if it's like a big project, that's how. And then transport controls in Fusion Studio. Didn't we just read about this? The transport controls in Fusion Studio include buttons to control playback, time fields on the left side for setting the global range and render range, and a render button to initiate rendering of the composite. There are also controls on the right side for proxy and motion blur. The time field on the far right is used for the current time. Okay. Thought we went over this. Controlling playback. There are 8 transport controls underneath the time ruler in Fusion Studio. Fusion Studio. Oh, wait. Oh, this is Oh. Okay, that's Fusion Studio, so we don't care about that. Oh, this is all Fusion Studio. This is all Fusion Studio. What? So changing the time display format. Yeah, okay, this is new. That's where we just were. Okay, so changing the time display format. By default, all time fields and markers in Fusion count in frames, but you can also set the time display to SMPTE time code or feet plus frames. Feet? We can measure in feet? Hold up. Hold up. What is SMPTE? So what is SMPTE time code used for? Time code, sometimes known as SMPTE time code or SMPTE code, is an electronic signal which is used to identify a precise location on time-based media, such as audio or videotape or in digital systems. And it refers to the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers. Oh, that's what it is for film. That's what it is. It's with the clapperboard. That's what SMPTE is, and that's why the Society of why it's the Society of Motion Pictures and Television Engineers, because they were like, "Yo, this time code makes more sense for big projects." And so it's a set of cooperating standards to label individual frames or video or film with a time code. The system is defined by the Society of Engineers, Film Management in the SMT 12M specifications. They revised it in 2008, turning it into a two-part document, including new explanations and clarifications. And then time codes are added in film, video, or audio material. You have also been and have been adapted to sync. This is what crossed my mind, is that you can synchronize music. You can synchronize music and theatrical production. They provide a time reference for editing, synchronization, and identification. Timecode is a form of media metadata. The invention of timecode made modern videotape editing possible and led eventually to the creation of non-linear editing systems. That is cool. I'm gonna take a note of this and maybe make a short video about it. But yeah, so that's pretty sweet. Wait. SMPT timecode is presented in hour, minute, second frame format and is typically represented in 32 bits using binary coded decimal. There are also drop frame and color framing flags and 3 extra binary group flags bits used for defining the use of the user bits. What? The formats of other varieties of SMPT timecode are derived from that of the linear timecode. Huh? More complex timecodes, such as vertical interval timecode, can also include extra information in a variety of encodings. Sub-second timecodes, that's what we were talking about before, when we were like, that's so cool. Time values are expressed in terms of frames. Wait. Common supported frame rates includes 24 FPS, 25, 29. What? Oh, what? What? In general, SMPTE timecode frame rate information is implicit, known from the rate of arrival of the timecode. All right. I thought it was going to... Oh, it is. Drop frame. All right, whatever. Interesting. Oh, what's up? Oh, I just saw. Thanks for stopping by. Just saw your message flashed ECU. Thanks for stopping by, man. Okay, and it is 7:55. That means I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break and change my laundry over, and then we'll be right back in 5 minutes. And change my laundry over, and then we'll be right back in what? All right, I'm gonna keep this. I'm keeping this up. I don't even know how to do. I don't have a BRB screen open, so I'm just gonna I'm gonna walk away from this, and I'll be right back. And we're back. So, anyways, feet or feet plus frames. I don't know. We're not trying to put the frame rate into feet, whatever. To change the time display format, choose Fusion, Fusion settings. In Davinci Resolve, choose Fusion Studio preferences in Fusion Studio. All right, so yeah, so you can change the time display format. Currently, it is on just frames. Okay, now I'm curious. It's got me curious. Let's go to Fusion. Fusion settings. Fusion Studio. So it's just here. Time frame format. We've got frame rate, HD, default format, frame rate, color depth, film size, frames per foot. Huh? All right, timeline. Anyway, keyframe display in the time ruler. When you select a node that with keyframed parameters, those keyframes appear in the timeline ruler, time ruler, as little white tick marks. Those little things. Ah, that's good to know. Letting you navigate among and edit keyframes without having to open the keyframe editor or spline editor to see them. Ah, okay. So this is, if we change this to like here and here, then yeah, it shows up right there, right? Does it? Does it? Oh, because, oh, that's where the keyframes are. Okay, that's kind of good to know, that relationship right there. And then we've got, oh, and then we can jump to them with brackets. What? Huh? Or they're just saying scrub the frames? Huh. What do they say? Press Option left bracket to jump to the next keyframe in to the left. So Option left bracket. There we go. That's Alt on PC. The Fusion RAM cache for playback. When assembling a node tree, all image processing operations are rendered live to display the final result in the viewers. However, as each frame is rendered, and especially as you initiate playback forward or backward, these images are automatically stored to a RAM cache as they're processed, so you can replay those frames in real time. The actual frame rate achieved during playback is displayed in the status bar at the bottom of the Fusion window during playback. Of course, when you play beyond the cached area of the time ruler, uncached frames need to be rendered before being added to the cache. Priority is given to caching nodes that are currently being displayed based on which nodes are loaded to which viewers. However, other nodes may also be cached, depending on available memory and on how processor intensive those nodes happen to be, among other factors. Memory limits of the RAM cache. There is a single setting in Davinci Resolve for limiting the RAM used for caching. The setting is located in there's a magic setting. This setting is located in the Davinci Resolve Preferences memory and GPU panel. Limit Fusion memory cache to 2. This slider sets the maximum amount of RAM that Fusion can access for caching. So let's go to this. The setting is located in the Davinci Resolve Preferences, Memory, and GPU panel. Preferences, Memory, System, Memory, and GPU. Aha! Yeah, we got a lot of memory on this computer. Yeah, you can have all of it, but that's good to know if I'm doing something else, which I am. Like right now, I'm streaming, so if things get heavy, that's something to consider. It's good to know. Limiting cache. So limit Fusion memory cache to this slider sets the maximum amount of Fusion can access for caching. It is the subset of RAM allocated to Davinci Resolve. You can assign a max of 75% to Fusion from Davinci Resolve's total RAM allocation. When not using the Fusion page, the RAM is released for other pages in Davinci Resolve. There are 2 settings in Fusion Studio for limiting the RAM used for caching. These settings are located in the Preferences memory panel. Limit caching 2. This slider sets the maximum amount of RAM used for caching. The 60% default setting on a 32 gigabyte system limits the cache to 19 gigabytes. Right. The maximum amount you can assign to Fusion Studio is limited to 80% of the... Oh, wait, this Fusion Studio got... Damn, I keep reading about Fusion Studio. Don't care. Fusion Studio. Can I highlight this word and avoid it? So displaying cached frames. All cache frames for the currently viewed node. Is this still Fusion Studio? Yeah. Displaying cache frames. All cached frames for the currently viewed node are indicated by a green line at the bottom of the time ruler. Any green section of the time ruler should play back in real time. Yeah, we're not really. Yeah, we do have. We have a preview for this. Temporarily preserving the cache when changing quality or proxy settings. If you toggle the composition's quality settings or proxy options, the cache is not immediately discarded. The green line instead turns red to let you know that the cache is being preserved and can be used again when you go back to the original level of quality or disable proxy mode. However, if you play through those frames at the new quality or proxy settings, this preserved cache is overwritten with a new cache at the current quality or proxy setting. So that's, I didn't know that one. I always assumed it was just like, it's not cached. The red line indicates that cached frames from a different quality or proxy setting are being preserved. So red means it's preserved. It just means it's like doing something different. It's different quality. There's one exception to this, however. When you cache frames at the high quality setting, you then turn off high quality, the green frames won't turn red. Instead, the high quality cache frames are used even though the high Q setting has been disabled. So if you do high quality caching, it still gets used because it's like, this is the best we can do and it's cached, so might as well just use that. Toolbar. The toolbar located underneath the time ruler contains tons of buttons. So many buttons that let you quickly add commonly used nodes to the node editor. Clicking any of these buttons adds that node after the currently selected node in the node tree, or adds an unconnected instance of that node if no nodes are selected. The toolbar can be customized and saved for specific tasks. I'm happy that we're getting to these because I was getting kind of bored of like just the default layout stuff. Moving on. Loader saver nodes for our Fusion Studio. Skip that. Generator title paint nodes. Generator title paint nodes. Let's see. Let's move how can we get this in the screen? How about move it like that? We could close this. And now we're looking at these, right? Yeah. So loader slash saver nodes. No, that's for Fusion Studio only. Generator slash title. Oh, so this section is generator. So generate a paint, generate fast noise, generate text, generate a background. The background and fast noise generators are commonly used to create all kinds of effects, and the title generator is obviously a ubiquitous tool, as is paint. There's the color slash blur nodes. So this is this section right here is the color corrector, color curves, hue curves. I'm looking down here. Brightness contrast applies brightness contrast, and then we got the blur. Blurs the image. How is that the icon for blur? Looks like a drop with a circle in it. Compositing slash transform nodes. This is the merge node. This is the multi-merge, the channel booleans, the matte control, the transform, wait, I want to read it. Sorry, I want to read this as well. Color slash blur nodes, color corrector, color curves, hue curves, and brightness contrast are the 4 most commonly used color adjustment nodes, while the blur node is ubiquitous. That's okay. And then compositing slash transform nodes. So we've got the merge node is the primary node used to composite one image against another. So that's the primary node for compositing, the merge node. Channel booleans and matte control. This is channel booleans. Oh, this is multi-merge. So merge, multi-merge. This is channel booleans and matte controls. Channel booleans and matte controls are both essential for reassigning channels from one code to another. Channel booleans and matte control are both essential for reassigning channels from one node to another. Resize alters do they mean transform? Resize alters the resolution of the image, permanently altering the available resolution, while transform applies pan, tilt, within the transform. Pan, tilt, rotate, zoom effects in a resolution independent fashion that traces back to the original resolution available to the source image. And then we've got the mask nodes. This section. Mask nodes is rectangle, ellipse, polygon, And B-spline mask nodes let you create shapes to use for rotoscoping, creating garbage masks, or other uses. Sweet. And then we've got the particle nodes. Particle nodes, they are these. And then we've got 3 particle nodes let you create complete particle systems when you click them from left to right. P emitter emits particles in 3D space. 3D particle system. That's the default button inside of Fusion. While P merge lets you merge multiple emitters and particle effects to create more complex systems. P render renders a 2D result that can be composited against other 2D images. P render renders a 2D result that can be composited against other 2D images. And then there's 3D nodes. These are, and the rest here are 3D nodes. So 3D, and then this is particles. So 7 3D nodes let you build sophisticated 3D scenes. These nodes auto-attach to one another to create a quick 3D template when you click from left to right. Image plane 3D lets you create geometric primitives of different kinds. Text 3D. Text 3D. Wait, this is image plane, and then this is shape 3D. And then this is text 3D. Lets you build 3D text objects. Merge 3D lets you composite multiple 3D image planes, primitive shapes, and 3D text together to create complex scenes, while camera 3D lets you frame the scene in whatever ways you like. Spotlight lets you light the scenes in different ways. Oh, so that's literally just light. And Renderer 3D renders the final scene and outputs 2D images and auxiliary channels that can be used to composite 3D output against other 2D layers. Okay, when you're first learning to use Fusion, these nodes are really all you need to build most common composites. Once you've become a more advanced user, you'll still find that these are truly the most common operations you'll use. So better familiarize ourselves with this, with these. Customizing the toolbar. You can add and remove tools from the Fusion toolbar, and then save the custom toolbar as a preset. New tools can be added by dragging them from the effects library or the node editor, and dividers can be added to group together tool sets together. Oh, so you can make your own little thingamajigs. To create a new toolbar, do the following. Right-click in an empty area of the toolbar, and choose Customize Create Toolbar from the contextual menu. Enter a name for the toolbar in the dialog box and click OK. My toolbar. Huh? All right, that's good to know. All right, let's just continue. To arrange the tools in toolbar, do the following. Create a new custom toolbar. Oh, I just did that. Drag a node into the toolbar to its new location. Let's add it. Ooh, that's actually kind of cool. I like this. I like this. I will keep it. Not this one though. I want this gun. Remove. Ah, sweet. And it didn't add my divider. Excuse me, I said to add a divider. Add divider. Why is there no divider? What? But anyways, this is sweet. Imagine, oh, this gives me an idea. This gives me an idea that we have to wait until later episodes to see come to fruition. It's gonna be sweet though when it does. Okay. So that's how you do it. You just drag a node into there and then it populates and then you can save it. Does that mean I can remove this? I can. That's big. That's big. All right. This is going to be sweet when I get a little better. I hope I remember later. If not, and anybody ever watches this, you can remind me and then I'll do something cool with it. And then to add a tool to the toolbar, create a new custom toolbar or select an existing custom toolbar. Do one of the following: drag a node from the effects library to the location on the toolbar where you want to add it, and then drag a node from the node editor to the location on the toolbar where you want it added. Oh, so we can just add it from Blinn. Huh. Huh. Cook torrents. I wonder who the person is that like made the icons for all these. Oh my god, this looks like a yin yang. That's sweet. Wait, but if I leave that there, it's going to confuse me. Like as we were going through these, I was like, P render? Do I really need particle render and renderer 3D? Right? It would actually make sense to just like, yeah. All I'm saying is it would make sense to customize this, which is the whole point of reading this, to learn that we can customize this. To prevent a custom toolbar from being modified, right-click over the toolbar, choose Lock from the contextual menu. To switch between toolbars, right-click over the toolbar and choose the custom toolbar name, or choose Default to return to Fusion's default toolbar. To rename a custom toolbar, do the following. Right-click over the toolbar and choose the name of the custom toolbar you want to rename. Right-click, customize, rename toolbar. Okay, yeah. Customize, rename. Okay, rename. Okay, got it. To delete a custom, okay, we get it. Tip: adding and deleting tools from a custom toolbar is not undoable. What? Why didn't they just say is doable? Wait, adding and deleting tools from a custom toolbar is not undoable. Is, oh, because, all right. If you are creating a complex tool set, make a new custom toolbar based on your current toolbar in between major changes and work off that. Custom toolbar based on your current toolbar in between major changes and work off that. That way, if you make an error, you can revert back to the last known good toolbar. Once you have the final toolbar, the way you want it, you can go back and remove all the interim custom toolbars. Yeah, so you can just develop that in steps is all they're saying, and then do like toolbar 1, toolbar 2, toolbar V3 part 6 and whatever. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna get that. Node editor, yeah. Woo, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, I really like this in the background. It seriously looks like a yin yang. That's super cool. That's just so random how I like, ooh. The node editor is the heart of Fusion because it's where you build the tree of nodes that makes up each composition. Each node you add to the node tree adds a specific operation that creates one effect. Whether it's blurring the image, adjusting color, painting strokes, drawing and adding a mask, extracting a key, creating text, or compositing two images into one. This is important. This is the key concept here. That's a key concept. You can think of each node as a layer in an effects stack, except that you have the freedom to route image data in any direction to branch and merge different segments of your composite in completely non-linear ways. This makes it easy to build complex effects, but it also makes it easy to see what's happening. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I used to use After Effects, and coming from After Effects, that's like, I just can't stay organized in After Effects. It's so hard. It gets so messy. And then this is exactly the solution, which is node-based. This makes it easy to build complex effects, but it also makes it easy to see what's happening, since the node tree doubles as a flowchart that clearly shows you everything that's happening once you learn to read it. So I don't know how to read it yet. That's why I'm here reading this manual, so I can learn to read flowcharts. Node trees. Adding nodes to your composition. Depending on your mood, there are a few ways you can add nodes from the effect, depending on how you're feeling. There are a few ways you can add nodes from the effects library to your composition. For most of these methods, if there's a single selected node in the node editor, new nodes are automatically added after it. Oh, so if you have it selected, and then boom, that didn't work. I guess I thought it was going to connect. For most of these methods, if there's a single selected node in the node editor, new nodes are automatically added after it, but if there are no selected nodes or multiple selected nodes, then new nodes are added as disconnected from anything else. Oh, because there's multiple nodes here and I selected that. So if I do this, on this, I don't know. Methods of adding nodes include, but are not limited to, no, they include click a button on the toolbar. There, I clicked a button. The button was clicked. Here, let's zoom in and move this over. Actually, we don't need to see keyframes. That's one way. You can open the effects library. Find the node you want in the relevant category and click once on a node to add it. Drip. Let's get some drip. I don't know what that does. It's a type of warp. Okay. What if we do that? Can we? No. Oh, it's probably because, there's probably something that I don't know yet, which is about the color coding of these, maybe? Or is this green because I made it green, or what? If I turn it to pink? No, so that's green because of something. Let's go back to the yin-yang gradient. Yeah, so you can add it, you just click it and it adds, displace. Does this connect? Why doesn't this connect? Gotta be a merge, maybe? Merge? These two? Can these merge like this? No? Okay. I'm confusing myself. Right click on the node and choose Insert Tool. Add Tool. From the drop-down menu to add it to the node you've right-clicked on. So macro? No, wait. Insert tool. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, that's not gonna be anything. Hold up. What? Oh. Okay, whatever. Anyways, or you can right-click on the background of the node editor to use the submenu and add a disconnected node. To add a disconnected node, yeah, just it adds it into space, and then you can connect it, and then you can press Shift Spacebar to open a Select Tool dialog. Transform TV. Huh. Okay, whatever. Back to the yin yang. Then we got press Shift Spacebar to open a Select Tool dialog. Oh, I'm getting a suggestion to up my audio stream bitrate. Uh-oh. Whoa. Oh, that was close. Stream, open widget. Okay. I want to do that. I think it's YouTube's like, yo, turn that mic up. I think. Or they're like, yo, please just dial it back. Just mute yourself from no. I think they're trying to suggest upping the audio quality. Use an audio stream bitrate of 128 kilobytes per second. So let's see, audio. Isn't that really high? 128? Sample rate? Really? Audio stream general. Wait, where's that? Stream output. audio. I think they're saying to turn it down. Turn that audio stream rate down. But it says the current bit rate is 0. Man, I kind of want to figure this out. Advanced audio properties? No. Properties? No. Let's see. We got. Man, I don't want to get too sidetracked from the task at hand, which is reading through the Davinci Resolve manual. We've made it, I think, 20 pages today. Oh man, this is gonna take a while, but we're only halfway done for today, right? Yeah, we still got an hour and a half. It says 40 pages per day. Sheesh. No, it was okay. All right. Anyways, let's see. Let's get back on tasks. So shift spacebar, control spacebar to do it the cool way. That's how the cool people do it. And then we've got removing nodes from your composition. Removing nodes is as simple as selecting one or more nodes and then pressing delete or backspace. So let's delete this. That was the backspace. Delete drip, delete displace. We want the gradient here because that's cool. And we'll delete that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Okay. Cool. And then identifying node inputs and node outputs. Each node displays small colored connections around the edges. This is some more key stuff. One or more arrows represent inputs. One or more arrows represent inputs. And the square connection represents the tool's processed output, of which there is always only one. If you hover the pointer over any of the node's inputs or outputs, the name of that input or output immediately appears in the status bar. So down here, so it's background one.effect mask. And then output is background one.output. That's important for later. The name of that input or output immediately appears in the status bar. If you wait for a few more moments, a floating tooltip displays the same name right over the node. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. All right, I guess it's not going to happen. Wait, hold up. If we just put this, why can't I put the gradient on top of the, so I think I do have to merge these, right? Is that how this works? Like that. All right. Okay, just keep reading. Each node displays small colored connections around the edges. Yes. Okay, so that was false. This is the first time the manual told me to do something and that said it was going to happen, and then it did. Anyways, node editing essentials. Each node has inputs and outputs that are wired together. These are the essentials. Using connections. The inputs are represented by arrows that indicate the flow of image data from one node to the next, as each node applies its effect and feeds the result via the square output to the next node in the tree. In this way, you can quickly build complex results from a series of relatively simple operations. This is 3 nodes connected together. Yeah. Let's add a blur. Shift, Control Space. We'll make it pop up right over next to it. Yeah. Oh, I thought these were going to pop up connected. Why am I unable to connect these things? I'm not there yet. Gotta keep reading. Gotta keep reading until those magic powers happen. You can connect a single node's output to inputs of multiple nodes, called branching. So media in can go to multiple places. One node branching to 2 to split the image to 2 operations. So 2 things can happen from or more. And then you can then composite images together by, I want to make sure you guys can read this. You can then composite images together by connecting the output from multiple nodes to certain nodes, such as the merge node that combines multiple inputs into a single output. That's what I was trying to do before. So merge goes to 2 nodes being merged together into one to create a composite. Oh. There we go. Wait. Okay. Just keep reading. Just keep reading. You can then composite images together by connecting the output from node merge node. Okay, 2 nodes being merged together. I've heard it been said that you can do that. Text. Text. Oh boy. Okay, by default, new nodes are added from left to right in the node editor. But they can also flow from top to bottom, right to left, bottom to top, or in all directions simultaneously. Connections automatically reorient themselves along all 4 sides of each node to maintain the cleanest possible presentation as you rearrange other connected nodes. So nodes can be orientated in any direction. The input arrows let you follow the flow of image data. And then navigating the node editor. As your node tree gets larger, parts inevitably go off screen. This thing. When it's off screen, a resizable navigator pane appears in the upper right corner. The navigator is a miniature representation of the entire node tree that you can drag within to pan to different parts of your composition quickly. You can resize the navigator using a handle in the lower left corner. Huh. Oh. Huh. Oh. Or you can play like not block out or knockout. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's Tetris. Look, it's like block out. Huh? And then we need another node. Do 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 do. Look, it looks like we're playing block out. Do do do. Okay, what have we done? Okay. Back on track. Okay, we're kind of getting derailed. I'm gonna be real. It's like almost time for the next little 5-minute break. I'm starting to feel like 2 hours is pretty long, but 3 hours is gonna be pretty long. Navigating the node editor. So you can resize the navigator using a handle, like I was just saying, and then you can hide it by pressing B if you want. So get lost. All right, that's good to know. The navigator pane for accessing off-screen parameters or tools. Yeah, that's what we just did. There are other standard methods of panning and zooming around the node editor. Methods of navigating the node editor. Middle click and drag. Hold down Shift and Command and drag. Same thing, okay. Press the middle and left mouse button simultaneously and drag to resize. See, that's like a new thing I've never seen before. And then hold down the command key and use your mouse's scroll control to resize. Same thing. That's how I usually do it. Hold down control and scroll wheel. And then press command 1. Command 1 to put it back to 100%. Or drag 2 fingers on a trackpad. We're not on a trackpad. And then hold the command key and drag 2 feet. Yeah. Vertical node editor layouts. Vertical node editor layouts. Ah, so that's how you would do it. If you were some sort of professional and you liked doing it that way, that's how you would do that. Alternative node view layout presets located in the Fusion page allow for positioning the node editor vertically, either alongside the inspector or along the left side of the screen. This can be very helpful when animating in the spline editor or keyframe editor. I get, no, that's valid. Valid. Like if you're just messing with keyframes, you want as much real estate for the keyframes as possible. So if you got keyframes up and you got the spline, or if you're editing splines and keyframes, right? Then you want as much real estate as possible. And just as a note, I'm recording this at 150% screen size. At 100%, you'd have a little bit more, but it can get it like this monitor I'm on. What is it? I think it's like what size? What size monitor do I have? Oh, we got I mean, the display size is 256 by 1440, but the monitor itself is, why do I always have trouble finding where that is, where that info is? There it is. No. Where is it? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like 32 inches. This can be very helpful when animating in the spline editor or keyframe editor. When in the Fusion page, you can choose the layouts from Workspace Layout Presets. Workspace Layout Presets, Fusion Presets. Aha! Left flow. I kind of like this. If I wanted the editor, and then I could turn this on like that. That's kind of cool, man. It's kind of slick. We can close effects. Oh, I get it. So it would make more sense to have this flowing down. And then you could even, no, you can't. You could do that. Oh, that was tricky actually. Because you could get this whole side now. But no, you'd want this. You'd want more real estate there. So do that. And then turn that off. Okay. But anyways, let's see, workspace, workspace, and then we got workflow integration. No, where was it? Where was it? Layout presets, Fusion presets, mid flow. This is like the same thing, just actually this reminds me of Unreal Engine, but not the nodes over here. Inspector, yeah, there's the inspector. So this is kind of like, but with the node tree here. And then the spline editor and the keyframes. Then you can close that up. Cool. Let's keep it on the default for now. And I have this stuff closed. Okay. When in the Fusion page, you can choose the layouts from what we just checked, and it works like that. The mid-flow vertical layout preset used with the vertical flow direction setting, right? And then we've got when using the vertical layouts, enabling the flow, build direction, vertical flow in the Fusion settings will cause all new node trees to build vertically. Okay, so that's important too. If I do want to change the way that this is laid out, you want to turn that on so that when you make a new node, it pops up properly in the vertical way. So you enable the flow by going to build direction, flow. You can then save alternative layouts based on these two vertical presets using the workspace layout preset submenu. Okay. When you want to return to the default horizontal node editor layout, just choose workspace layout presets, Fusion presets default. That's what we did. Great. These layout options are not available. Okay. So keeping organized. Woo! Okay, I'm gonna pause it there for 5 minutes. I need to step off screen and I will be right back. And I don't have it all set up with like a cool like pause screen, so I'm literally just gonna V. Yo, what's up? We are back. All right. So keeping organized. As you work, it's important to keep the node trees that you create tidy to facilitate a clear understanding of what's happening. Fortunately, the Fusion node editor provides a variety of methods and options to help you with this. Found within the Options and Arrange Tools submenu of the Node Editor contextual menu. Go here, and then you go Arrange Tools, and then arrange all to grid. Yeah. Status bar. The status bar in the lower left corner of the Fusion window shows you a variety of up-to-date information about things you're selecting and what's happening in Fusion. And what's happening in Fusion. For example, hovering the pointer over a node displays information about that node in the status bar. Yep. Additionally, the currently achieved frame rate appears whenever you initiate playback, and the percentage of the RAM cache that's used appears at all times. Other information, updates, and warnings appear in this area as you work. The status bar under the node editor showing you information about a node under the pointer. Yep. Occasionally, the status bar will display a badge to let you know there's a message in the console you might be interested in. The message could be a log, script, message, or error. That'd be down here. If something happens, you can see that. Cool. And then effects library. Yep. The effects library in Fusion shows all the nodes and effects available in Fusion, including third-party OFX plugins, if installed. If you are using Davinci Resolve, Resolve FX also appears in the OFX category when... Let's take a look. What are they talking about? OFX. OpenFX. Oh, we got a vignette. I saw a vignette. Mirror. Look at all these effects. Look at all these effects. Can we get a radio blur? We didn't do so well before trying to add a radio things too. No. Okay. All right. While the toolbar shows many of the most common nodes you'll use in any composite, the effects library contains every single tool available in Fusion, organized by category, with each node ready to be quickly added to the node editor. Suffice it to say that there are many, many more nodes available in the effects library than on the toolbar, spanning a wide range of uses. Yeah, so I'm not going to do it now, but it might be worth it to skim through and look at what's there. I mean, they got Chrome. I want Chrome. Chrome. What? Huh? Oh. 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 Huh? Oh. Okay. Let's just shh, 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 shh. Okay. And this isn't going to work either. Oh, it is. Oh, because the template for, what about this one? Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh, a middle mouse clicking. Oh, interesting. Wait, if we open this up. All right, that's over our heads. Yeah, we're not qualified to take a peek there quite yet. We're qualified to peek, but not. All right. Suffice it to say, there's a bunch of stuff in here. The effects library with tools open, and then the template section of the effects library. Let's get rid of that. Templates. Oh, I wanted to take a look at this one. Sweet. Can we just look at it? Oh, so much stuff. Oh, I do have I do have like a pause screen, I think. Got to figure out how to connect that with OBS for streaming. That could be me. The hierarchical, that is such a tough word to say. Hierarchical category browser of the effects library is divided into several sections depending on whether you are using Fusion Studio or the Fusion page within Davinci Resolve. The tools section is the most often used since it contains every node that represents an elemental image processing operation in Fusion. What? The tools section. Oh. This represents everything in Davinci Resolve. What does it represent? The tools section is the most often used since it contains every node that represents an elemental image processing operation in Fusion. Hovering the pointer over a specific tool will reveal a tooltip explaining its functionality at the bottom right of the Davinci Resolve interface. Bottom right? You mean bottom left? The OpenFX. Yeah, what is OpenFX? OpenFX section contains third-party plugins. Oh, and if you are using the Fusion page, it also contains Resolve FX, which are included with Davinci Resolve. A third section, only visible when using the Fusion page in Davinci Resolve, is the template section, which we just took a peek at. The template section contains a variety of additional content, including templates for lens flares, backgrounds, generators, particle systems, shaders, and other resources for use in your composites. Yeah. The effects libraries list can be made full height or half height using a button at the far left of the UI toolbar. So the effects library, oh right, that's this button over here. Then we got the inspector. The inspector is a panel on the right side of the Fusion window that you use to display and manipulate the parameters of one or more selected nodes. Yes. Straightforward. We know what this inspector panel is. When a node is selected in the node editor, its parameters and settings appear in the inspector. The inspector shows parameters from one or more selected nodes. The modifier panel showing a perturb modifier. The Tools and Modifiers panels. The Fusion Inspector is divided into two panels. There's tools and there's modifiers. Oh. Yeah. So tools and modifiers. So it's divided into two panels. The tools panel is the main panel that shows you the parameters of selected nodes. The modifiers panel shows optional extensions to the standard parameters of a tool. In the following image, a perturb modifier has been added to a parameter to add random animation to the parameter. And the controls found on the modifier panel let you customize what kind of randomness is being added. So other nodes display node-specific items here. For example, paint nodes show each brush stroke as an individual set of controls in the modifiers panel available for further editing or animating. Ooh. So this is the transform node for the modifiers here. I still actually don't get the what if I do this? Huh. Oh, there's the color of the node. We could that's the color there. I guess it's just literally for organization. No, that's a cool idea. It's like you could put all, I mean, if it's complex, you could organize stuff at a glance that way. And then if you're zoomed out, you can make sense of it. That's probably what it is. That's why this is the way it is, right? Like that. Parameter header controls. Oh, are they literally about to just explain exactly that? Yes, they are. A cluster of controls appears at the top of every node's controls in the inspector. That's the name up here. And then you can set the color, a pop-up menu that lets you assign one of 16 colors to a node, overriding a node's own color. Versions. Clicking versions reveals another toolbar with 6 buttons. Oh, more buttons! Each button can hold an individual set of adjustments for that node that you can use to store multiple versions of an effect. Wow. Okay. No, that's good to know. Because then, when would we use this? We'd use it if we wanted to test a bunch of different versions of an effect and what the result is, without having to like make 6 different transform nodes and then plug it in. You can just switch through the controls node here. Then we got pin. What does pin do? The inspector is also capable of simultaneously displaying all parameters to multiple nodes you've selected in the node editor. Wait, so it's capable of simultaneously displaying all parameters for multiple nodes you've selected in the node editor. What? Furthermore, a pin button in the title bar of each node's parameters lets you pin that node's parameters into the inspector so that they remain where they're even when the node is deselected, which is valuable for key nodes that you need to adjust even while inspecting other nodes. Aha! So again, it's like a comparison thing where you could pin it, and now if I click the gradient, then it's here. just like in the edit page, because then I could like be like, oh yeah, this one is, I could just makes things easier. I get it. I get it. Do you? Do you get it? Good. Locks the node so that no changes can be made to it. If I click that, still there? What if I do this? Then I go back? Yeah, it's gone. We can lock it so that it's hard to make changes. That's one of those things that I feel like you could accidentally click and then be super confused about. And then reset. Resets all parameters within that node. Parameter tabs. Many nodes expose multiple tabs' worth of controls in the inspector, seen as icons at the top of the parameters section for each node. Click any tab to expose that set of controls. Yeah, so sometimes if it's a 3D thing, it will have like a, let's get a text 3D in here. Yeah, it's gonna have like a bajillion little sub windows. And then we can, yeah, let's keep, what? Yeah. Keyframe editor. The keyframes editor displays each node in the current composition as a stack of layers within a miniature timeline. So we're done with that. We're not looking at spline, we're looking at keyframe. And it's kind of hard to see that. Yeah, okay, you can see it now. And let me just, and I can just move that. Yeah. The order of the layers is largely irrelevant, as the order and flow of connections in the node tree dictate the order of image processing operations. You use the keyframes editor to trim, extend, or slide loader, media in, and effects nodes, or to adjust the timing of keyframes. Which appear superimposed over each effect node unless you open them up in their editable track. So the keyframes editor is used to adjust the timing of clips, effects, and keyframes. Okay. Keyframe editor control summary. At the top, a series of zoom and framing controls lets you adjust the work area containing the layers. I've seen everybody uses this one. A horizontal zoom control lets you scale the size of the editor. A zoom to fit button fits the width of all layers to the current width of the keyframe editor. That one's important. That one, like I said, a lot of people use this to auto size the keyframes. So like size, and then if I do this, oops. There's so much going on in this that makes no sense. Let me delete this. Delete this. Clean this up. All these, what is that? Delete. What is this? Just delete. And then there was, so this one, did have some keyframes to it. Okay. So it frames up the thing that's selected. I mean, I know we're talking about keyframes, but it works the same. Where you select the thing and then you press this button, zoom to fit, and then it properly lines up everything. You got zoom to fit button, fits the width, that's what I'm saying. Then you got zoom to rectangle, zoom to rect, that's over here. Oh, zoom to rectangle. Oh, and then you draw the thing. Zoom to rectangle. Okay. All right. Okay. Why is it not working over here? I think there's no keyframes. Oh, this? Oh. Anyways, zoom to rectangle works here. It lets you draw the rectangle to define an area of the keyframes editor to zoom into. A sort pop-up menu lets you sort or filter the tracks in various ways. Oh, to reorganize these and do it by name. This is so much because of this, because this effect is a stacked, which we haven't gone over yet, but I just know that it's a, what's it called? A group, which really makes this a mess. But I want to keep it here because it's kind of cool. Yeah. And then we've got an option menu, provides access to many other ways of filtering tracks and controlling visible options. A timeline ruler provides a time reference as well as a... So this is the timeline ruler. No, this is the timeline ruler. As well as place in which you can scrub the playhead. Yeah. Just like normal. This is a playhead scrubber. And then at the left, a track header contains the name of each layer, as well as controls governing that layer. A lock button lets you prevent a particular layer from being changed. Okay, these are the lock buttons here. Oh man, that's so easy to... Wait. It's not doing it. Is it? Lock, right click. Huh. Whatever. Nodes that have been keyframed have a disclosure control, which when open displays a keyframe track for each animated parameter. In the middle, the actual editing area displays all layers and keyframe tracks available in the current composition. At the bottom left, time stretch and spreadsheet mode controls provide additional ways to manipulate keyframes. This is cool. If you ever wanted to get like super technical, I think you'd use this spreadsheet mode. And what is this one? Time stretch. Time stretch. Time stretch. I don't know what that one does, but I know what this one does, is you can edit the individual keyframes like on a spreadsheet. That's it. And then at the bottom right, the time/time offset/time scale, t offset time scale. Drop-down menu and value fields let you numerically alter the position of selected keyframes, either absolutely, relatively, or based on their distance from the playhead. All right. Adjusting clip timings. Each loader or media in node that represents a clip used in a composition is represented as a layer in this miniature timeline. Wait, this is like the same thing as over here? Is that what they're saying? Adjusting clip timings. No. Each loader, okay, so the clip timings, that represents a clip used in a composition is represented as a layer in this miniature timeline. You can edit a layer's in or out points by positioning the pointer over the beginning or end of a segment and using the resize cursor to drag the point to a new location. You can slide a layer by dragging it to the left or right to better line up with the timing of other elements in your composition. The keyframes editor also lets you adjust the timing of elements that you've added from directly within Fusion. Boom. That's it. Just moving it like that. And then if we had some keyframes here, which we don't, I thought this one did. This transform, yeah, there it is. And then we find it in here, transform. Huh. Each loader or mini end node represents some stuff. You can resize the cursor. You can slide a layer by dragging it to the left or right. The keyframes editor also lets you adjust the timing of elements that you've added from directly within Fusion. Adjusting effect timings. Each effect node also appears as a layer, just like clips. You can resize the in and out points of an effect layer and slide the entire layer forward or backward in time, just like a loader or media in. If you trim an effect layer to be shorter than the duration of the composition, the effect cuts in at whichever frame the layer begins and cuts out after the last frame of that layer. Just like a clip on the timeline. Adjusting keyframe timings. Yeah, actually that's what I was trying to do just now. When you've animated an effect by adding keyframes to a parameter in the inspector, the keyframes editor is used to edit the timing of keyframes easily. Oh, it's talking about the keyframe editor now. Wait, that is what we have open. By default, all keyframes applied to parameters within a particular node's layer appear superimposed in one flat track over the top of that layer. To edit keyframes, you can click the disclosure control to the left of any animated layer's name in the trackhead, which opens up keyframe tracks for every keyframed parameter within that layer. That's what I did. To edit keyframes, you can click the disclosure control to the left within the, okay. So keyframe editing essentials. Here's a short list of keyframe editing methods that will get you started. Methods of adjusting keyframes. You can click on a single keyframe to select it. You can drag a bounding box over a keyframe of series of keyframes to select them all. You can right-click one or more select keyframes and use commands from the drop-down menu to change keyframes interpolation. Options, line size, all line size, time stretching, is that what it is? Okay. You can drag keyframes left and right, reposition them. You can or even create new keyframes. Copy and paste to change keyframe interpolation. Drop down from the. All right, and then you can command drag one or more selected keyframes to drag a duplicate of them to another position in the keyframe track. And then to change the position of a keyframe using the toolbar, do one of the following. Select a keyframe and then enter a new frame number in the time edit box. To change the position of keyframe, you can do this. Select 147. And then this one, what? I thought that would work. It does. Ooh. Wait, let's put it over. Neat. Cool. Didn't know that. Choose T offset. So you could change it. You could be like T offset by 3 seconds. 3. Oh. There we go. Cool. Wait, if I do that, if I do T offset, I better be, and then change it. What? T offset 3. And then that should be at 150. Yeah. Choose T scale. I don't know what T scale is. From the time editor pop-up, select one or more keyframes and enter a multiplier added to the current playhead frame position. For instance, if the playhead is on frame 10 and the keyframe is on frame 30, enter a T-scale value of 2 will position the keyframe on frame 50. The distance between the playhead and the original keyframe is 20, so 20 times 2 is 40, which is then added to the playhead position. That's kind of interesting. Huh. If I do T-scale of this at -2, that's not what I expected to happen. Oh, because it kind of like, it's where this time, what if I put it back here and then I do, or I just do 2, right? But what if I do -1? Wait. 2. Oh, because I didn't do it. -1. Yeah. And then 1. No. Okay. Whatever. Time stretching keyframes if you select a range of keyframes in a keyframe track, you can turn on the time stretch tool. That is what I was like, what is this? I think this one. That's what this does. So if I select these and then I do this, and then I can do that. I get it. Oh, because it's bouncing. That's from way back at the beginning of the episode. Sweet. Wait, did that work? Yeah, it did, right? And then I can change the. And then I gotta turn that off. Oh, and then then select that. Yeah. Oh, and then after you do that, you gotta turn it off though. Yeah. The time stretcher changes the overall timing of a sequence of keyframes without losing the relative timing from one keyframe to the next. Alternatively, you can turn on time stretch and draw a bounding box around the keyframes you want to adjust to create a time stretching boundary that way. Click the time stretch tool again to turn it off. Yeah. Then we got the keyframe spreadsheet. If you turn on the spreadsheet and then click on the name of a layer in the keyframe track, the numeric time position and value, or values if it's a multi-dimensional parameter, of each keyframe appear as entries in the cell on the spreadsheet. So we select these and then we press the split. What? And then they should be here. Oh, because I'm not. There it is. And then we see, because that's selected now. And there it is. We got the spreadsheet, just like that. Oh, and they're all funky numbers because we did the time restretch. They've got subframes in them. Each column represents one keyframe, while each row represents a single aspect of each keyframe. Editing keyframes in the spreadsheet. For example, if you're animating a motion path with, then the keyframe row shows the frame each keyframe is positioned at. And the path 1 displacement row shows the position along the path at each keyframe. If you change the keyframe value of any keyframe, you'll move that keyframe to a new frame of the timeline. Spline editor, yay! Moving on to the spline editor. The spline editor provides a more detailed environment for editing the timing, value, and interpolation of keyframes. Using control points at each keyframe connected by splines, also called curves, you can adjust how animated values change over time. The spline editor has 4 main areas: the zoom and framing controls at the top, the parameter, so that's the zoom and framing, this part, using control points at each keyframe connected by splines, also called, you can adjust how animated values change over time. The spline editor has 4 main areas: the zoom and framing controls at the part, the parameter list at the left here, parameters at the left, just like before, and the graph editor in the middle. That's where the magic happens. And the toolbar at the bottom. Actually, this is some stuff I never even looked at. So this is here too. And then the spline editor is divided into the zoom controls at the top. Right, parameter list. So spline editor control summary. At the top, a series of zoom and framing controls let you adjust the work area containing the curves. Yep, just like before. You got the vertical and horizontal, same as before. The zoom to fit, similar. The zoom is rectangle, yep. And then the timeline ruler provides a time reference. Yeah, just before. Parameter list at the left is where you decide which splines are visible in the graph. Yep, these. And by default, the parameter list shows every parameter of every node in a hierarchical list. Checkboxes besides each names are used to show or hide the curves for different keyframed parameters. Color controls let you customize each spline's tint. Make splines easier to see in crowded situations. That's good to know. This, yeah. Oh, once again for organization. And then crowded situation. The graph view that takes up most of this panel shows the animation spline along 2 axes. The horizontal axis represents time. Up and down. Oh, that's important to consider. Horizontal, no, this way. This is time. This is value. Yeah. The horizontal axis represents time, and the vertical axis represents the spline's value. Yeah. Selected control points show their values in the edit fields at the bottom of the graph. Down here again. Lastly, the toolbar at the bottom of the spline editor provides controls to set control point interpolation, spline looping, all this stuff. Oh, this. Oh. Oh. Ah. Wow. Oh. Hey. For different purposes. Choosing which parameters to show. Oh. To show every parameter in every node, click the Spline Editor option menu and choose Expose All Controls. To show every parameter in every node, you click the Splines Editor option menu and choose Expose All Controls. Okay. Where's that? Click the Splines Editor option menu. Show all. Expand all controls. Show. Because I only have. Okay, all right. Okay, to show splines for the currently selected node, click the Splines Editor option menu and choose Show Only Selected Tool. Okay, Essential Spline Editing. The Spline Editor is a deep and sophisticated environment for keyframes and spline editing and retiming. But the following overview will get you started using this tool for creating and refining animation. I got 15 more minutes because I'm thinking it might make more sense if we start next time with something that has a little more animation. This is just a basic little thing that slides across the screen, but it'd be fun if we had a little more elements going on. Whatever, let's start reading this and maybe we could pick up tomorrow with laying out some examples. Essential spline editing. The spline editor is a deep and sophisticated environment for keyframe and spline editing, yes, and refining animation. To select one or more control points, click any control point to select it. Command click multiple control points to select them. Drag a bounding box around multiple controls to select them as a group. To edit control points and splines, click anywhere on a spline to add a control point. Drag one or more selected control points to reshape the spline. Oh, and this is locked. Why is it locked? How do I unlock it? Or does this need to be, because this is movable, but this is locked. Why is that locked? Oh. I don't know why that's locked or how to unlock it. Maybe we'll pick that little trick up somewhere soon. To edit control points and splines, click anywhere on a spline to add a control point. Yep. Yeah. To edit Bezier curves, select any control point to make its Bezier handles visible. Bezier handles. And drag the Bezier handles. Command drag a Bezier handle to break the angle between the left and right handles. Okay. Command or control. To delete control points, select one or more control points and press the delete. Just like that. And then essential spline editing tools and modes. The spline editor toolbar at the bottom contains a mix of control point interpolation buttons, spline loop modes, and spline editing tools. Control point interpolation. The first 6 buttons let you adjust the interpolation of one or more selected control points. Yep. Played around with those. And then we got the smooth, creates an automatically adjusted Bezier curve. Yep. Also, the hotkey for that is S. I know that one. Creates linear interpolation between control points. Linear. I wonder if the hotkey, no, it's not L. No, oh. Just like that. All right. Inverts the vertical position of non-animated LUT splines. Is that lookup table splines? This does not operate on animation splines. So lookup table splines. I don't even know what that means. And then there's step in. For each keyframe, creates sudden changes in value at creates sudden changes in value at the next keyframe to the right. Similar to a hold keyframe in After Effects, restricted name, or a static keyframe in the Davinci Resolve color page. Step out. Creates sudden changes in value at every keyframe for which there's a change in value at the next keyframe to the right. Okay, so it's a step, I get it. similar to the whole keyframe in After Effects. Why didn't they do the R there? Or a static keyframe in the Davinci Resolve color page. And then there's reverse. Reverse is the horizontal position of selected keyframes in time. So the keyframes are backwards. And then there's spline loop modes. The next three buttons let you set up spline looping after the last control point on a parameter's spline, enabling a limited pattern of keyframes to animate over a far longer duration. Only the control points you've selected are looped. Set loop repeats the same pattern of keyframes over and over. Set ping pong repeats a reversed set of the selected keyframes and then a duplicate set of the selected keyframes to create a more seamless pattern of animation. And then there's set relative. Repeats the same pattern of selected keyframes, but with the values of each repeated pattern of keyframes being incremented or decremented by the trend of all keyframes in the selection. This results in a loop of keyframes where the value either steadily increases or decreases with each subsequent loop. Then we got the spline editing tool. The next 5 buttons provide specialized spline editing tools. We got the select all, the click append. Click once to select this tool and click again to deselect it. This tool lets you add or adjust keyframes and spline segments. Sections of splines between 2 keyframes, depending on the keyframe mode you're in. With smooth or linear keyframes, clicking anywhere above or below a spline segment adds a new keyframe to the segment at the location where you clicked. With step in or step out keyframes, clicking anywhere above or below a line segment moves that segment to where you've clicked. All right, actually, I read that. I didn't understand anything I was saying, but I want to keep moving because these are what happens if I click it. Huh? Oh, okay. Oh, so I don't have to click the on it. What about this? Oh, it selects them all. What about this? Oh, that's useful. And then shape box. Turn on the shape box to draw a bounding box around a group of control points you want to adjust in order to horizontally squish and stretch using the top, bottom, left, right handles. Corner pin. Using the corner handles, move dragging on the box boundary or corner stretch. Command drag the corner handles. Show key markers. Turning on this control shows keyframes in the top ruler that correspond to the frame at which each visible control point appears. The colors of these keyframes correspond to the color of the control points they're indicating. And how are we doing on time? We're almost. Is this where we should stop for today? I think it might be. One where thumbnail timeline in the Fusion page. I think this might be where we pause. Maybe we could get to here. Let's get to here and then pause it. Finish for today. So thumbnail timeline in the Fusion page. In the Fusion page of Davinci Resolve, the thumbnail timeline, hidden by default, can be opened by clicking the Clips button in the UI toolbar and appears underneath the node editor. So clips, and then they show up under here. The thumbnail timeline shows every clip in the current timeline, giving you a way to navigate from one clip to another. Oh, that's true. So you don't have to like hop over to the edit page. You can just stay here and go through the Fusion pages. Each thumbnail has a pop-up menu for creating and switching among multiple versions of compositions and resetting the current composition when necessary. And then right-clicking on any thumbnail exposed to contextual menu. Oh, you could just like create a new one? Huh? I thought this was going to reset. You could like kind of switch between compositions. You can. But but I'm surprised that these are still here. I thought this was going to be okay, whatever. Maybe. I think that is something. I just stumbled on something. But whatever. It's near the end of the day. My head is starting to fall asleep. To open another clip, click any thumbnail to jump to that clip's composition. That's it. Just like that. Boom. Remember that from yesterday? Good times. To navigate to the thumbnail, navigate the thumbnail timeline. Middle click and drag the the timeline left or right. Huh? And then click and drag the slider at the bottom of the thumbnail timeline to scroll through the clips in the timeline. Okay, to create and manage versions of compositions. To create a new version of composition, right-click on the current. That's what we just kind of messed around with. And then to load, right-click and choose name of version, load. And then to delete the composition, right-click on the, to delete it. To rename, right-click and change the name. And then to reset the current composition, right-click the current thumbnail and choose reset current composition from the contextual menu. And then to change how thumbnails are identified, double-click the area underneath any thumbnail to toggle among clip format, clip name, and the composition version name. Okay, and then the media pool in the Fusion page. In Davinci Resolve's Fusion page, the media pool continues to serve its purpose as the repository of all media you've imported into your project. This makes it easy to add additional clips to your composition simply by dragging the clip you want from the media pool into the node editor. The media you add appears as a new media in node in your composition, ready to be integrated into your node tree however you see fit. And then the media pool is in thumbnail mode, showing video clips, right? It's over here. Just go like this and then go like that, and that's there. And this. What? And then tip, if you drag one or more clips from the media pool onto a connection line between two nodes in the node editor, the clips are automatically connected to that line via enough merge nodes to connect them all. For more information on using the myriad features of the media pool, see Chapter 8, Adding and Organized Media in the Media Pool. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to stop there for today. We're going to pick it up tomorrow. But I feel like today was a much better indicator of how long this little journey of ours is going to take. So today we started on page 1166, I think. 1166. Yes. That's where we started, and we made it. Oh my goodness. This is going to take forever. Oh man, I'm going to be at this for a while. I'm going to have to figure out how to get some viewers in here. Because this is going to be boring if I just do this to myself with no audience, no live audience for this whole time. but I'll do it. How long is this going to take? Let's see. That was 166. So this was 30 pages today. And I need to get through. There was 1,600 pages. And today I just did 30. Oh, it's going to take a month and a half. If I did it every single day for 3 hours a day. Huh. That's not impossible. That's doable. That's doable. Is that the right amount? 1,600? Yeah. 1,600 pages divided by 30 pages is 53 times. And I've already done 50 pages or so, so it's gonna be realistically what? That's like 60 days of streaming. Huh. Yeah, I think that's doable. I could do it. I could do that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like get through 30 pages every day. I mean, also, I'll have to recalculate that. I might be able to get a little faster. If I read it faster, I could definitely read this faster. I'm really taking my sweet time. But if it was, let's see, 1,600 pages, and then I could get through 50 a day, that's 32. That's still 32 3-hour sessions. If I'm reading at 50 pages per episode, which I don't think I would be if like it's hard to say at this point, but when stuff starts getting a lot cooler and we start like plugging things together, that might be hard to keep up a 50. I haven't done a 50-page session yet, but that would be tough to keep up, I expect. So I think realistically, it's going to take me like 40 sessions of 3 hours, though. How many hours is that? 40 times 3, 120? That's it? 120 hours. That's like a lot less than I thought. 120 hours. Huh. Like it would take 120 hours and I'd be like really good at this by the end, for sure. And then I could probably figure out how to get some viewers in here. If I gotta figure out the whole streaming thing off stream. Or stream more and have like a different theme. But I would like to just like blast through Davinci Resolve and then have Davinci Resolve superpowers. That'd be pretty sweet. Might be a discussion for next episode, because it is now 10:03. We've gone a little over. 1,600 divided by 40 pages would be 40. 40 sessions of 3 hour. 40 sessions of 3 hours. Huh. That might be cool. I might do it. Yeah. All right. Anyways, either way, tomorrow is Friday. Am I going to stream tomorrow for 3 hours? Maybe. Maybe. We will see. All right. Anyways, thanks for watching. I know at least one of you or two of you are watching the archives because there ain't but nobody's watching live right now, but I want to keep this up. I like what's in the making here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you, I think, tomorrow, so that I can blast through this quickly and keep a long schedule. But I'm feeling it in my throat. I haven't talked this much before at this level. So we'll see how I feel. Anyways, hope to see you tomorrow. I mean, in the archives, it's going to look like it was just like bam, bam, bam. So whatever. Anyways, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.